Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel, Travels in Tranquility, and an exciting video. Not just because it's starting at Starbucks, which you know me is always a great day, but because what, Devin?
It's our VIP tour day at
It
Universal
is,
Orlando.
yeah, such a great day. look how happy I am with Starbucks. So we did eat breakfast before we went on tour. Now, as you'll see, the tour does include breakfast, but we can talk about that when we get to it. If you live with me and if you know me, it's better to feed me. So, let's just be real.
Yeah, the breakfast doesn't start until 9 with this one,
Yeah.
which is different than the one in Hollywood.
It started at 8:45, as you'll see. That's when we
Okay.
were able to start eating. I took very diligent notes. Also, let's use this chance to shout out in the description box below the link to our VIP tour for Universal Studios Hollywood if you want to go check out that video and do a little comparing between the two parks. But as Devin said, yeah, this video is our VIP experience for Universal Studios Orlando. And what's cool about the VIP experience here is that it includes both parks. So you spend a little bit of time at Universal Studios and in Islands of Adventure. So that's pretty cool. So we decided to walk to the parks. We had plenty of time. We knew we were going to be fine. So we did that. I will say one other kind of difference, and we're going to do a whole video comparing these two things. But when our arrival time was set for 8:30, which I believe was the first time of the day because the parks didn't open until 9 this day. And when they said 8:30, they meant 8:30.
Yeah, there was no wiggle room there.
No, there was no arriving early, unlike at our experience at Universal Hollywood where we were able to arrive early. And I do want to mention there are a couple of other benefits to the VIP experience that we didn't make use of. It does include valet parking,
Which is, we heard somebody else talking on our trip here, somebody who was also in the group with us. It was a $75 value.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much money to valet park at this park.
That's a ton of money. So that's kind of a cool added value if you're driving in. Obviously, we were staying on property, so it didn't really matter to us. So as you noticed, we made it into our VIP experience. So when your time happens and you check in at the little office next to Universal Studios, you check in, you give them your information, their name, they give you your VIP pass with the lanyard, and then you're kind of taken in small groups through the park to the breakfast buffet area, which was, since our time was 8:30, this was actually really cool because we got to walk through the park
there's nobody here
before it had even opened. So as you can see, there's literally nobody there except for the small group of people that we're walking with and some employees in the background. But that was really cool.
It's always fun, and you see it at Disney sometimes too, when we go to Disneyland, just to see the folks like prepping the park for the day.
Yeah.
I think that's super cool.
Yeah.
We love the behind the scenes stuff.
Mm-hmm. So. Absolutely. So that was pretty a neat benefit that I feel like we didn't know would exist. Because as you'll see later in the video, the parks were surprisingly busy for the day that we were there.
Right. For a random, was it a Monday?
It was a Monday. And it was like the week leading up to Memorial Day weekend, but it was not like a holiday weekend or anything like that. It was just a regular Monday. But we also noticed during our entire trip, which I'm sure we've talked about, but we saw a lot of like middle school graduation groups.
God, so many.
Kind of every single day we were in the park. So I think because we were right at the end of school season for a lot of schools on the East Coast especially, that was kind of something that we fell victim to.
It was constant. Just so many groups of just hundreds of little kids.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. So our VIP experience, it includes breakfast. It's a little buffet. I would say it's no different than like a hotel breakfast buffet. As you can see here, Devin's going to give you a quick pan.
It's continental.
Yeah, it's nothing crazy. Some pastries, yogurt.
A little fast, Devin. A little fast.
Yeah. I think there's eggs and bacon.
Potatoes, super simple.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the breakfast part was a little I think, more thorough than like the one in Hollywood. But
yes,
we'll talk about the lunch later.
Yeah. And then about a half hour later, so we had breakfast from 8:45 to 9:15. Then we kind of met fully with our group and with our tour director, whose name is PJ. And we kind of had like a brief overview of what the day was going to kind of entail. It was cool while we were eating breakfast. He kind of went around and talked to each couple that was in our tour group and asked us kind of what we were excited for, what we were there for. I will say it was really nice that our tour group was made entirely of adults.
Right.
I do think that was well done by like VIP tours. We were paired with
just other adults.
Three other couples.
Yeah, 3 other couples.
So that was kind of nice. And then our tour guide. Oh, not 3 other couples.
2 other couples and then a group from Scotland.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who was like all adults.
All adults.
So that was really cool. And then we made our way into the parks. Parks were still pretty empty at this point. As you can see, there were not a ton of crowds. Our first ride of the day started at 9:30, and we went to Fast and the Furious Supercharged.
Which is the weirdest choice.
It's a very weird choice. PJ was saying that he wanted to start us like low, set the bar low so that, our expectations would be exceeded on the other rides, which, we've been to this park before. We've ridden this ride before. Definitely this sets the bar low.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. This ride is, you're in like a little moving tram that doesn't actually, it moves a little bit and then screens come around you and you're jostled around. Water is sprayed at you. It's really loud. You get to see a wildly disproportionate Vin Diesel CGI. He's bigger than a helicopter. It's weird. It's very strange, but it accomplished what PJ wanted to accomplish. Then we hopped onto the Hogwarts Express, which is both transportation and a ride. What's cool about the VIP experience is that you do get, your dedicated tour guide. They kind of, before you ride the ride, explain what the ride is about and kind of give you any information that you would get in the queue.
Yeah.
Also, you often enter through the exit, which is a really cool fact. Oh, this is really neat. We did the little disappearing through the brick wall. I think that turned out so cute.
It was really cool.
PJ took the video for us.
Yeah. Shout out to PJ. He was a friggin' rock star.
Yeah, he was awesome. He was very entertaining and a good tour guide, I think, for our day. So you often enter through the exit when you're coming in with your tour guide.
Yeah.
So even though you get the unlimited express pass with your VIP lanyard, that's basically for before or after your VIP tour. When you're with the tour guide, you don't even go through the express lane. You go through the exit, which is kind of neat because you really, really cut through the lines that way.
Right.
And as you can see, landing in Islands of Adventure, it was packed.
Absolutely packed.
Yeah.
Well, the last time we were here 2 years ago, we had the longest wait time for any ride was this thing. We waited 90 minutes for this thing.
Which is way too long for this ride. So the Hogwarts train, it's cute. Like, I think it's a really great photo opportunity because you get to see, the train, and that's always cool, but,
I wouldn't wait longer than 20 minutes.
No, I agree. But it is neat that it acts as transportation between Universal Studios Orlando and Islands of Adventure. So taking the train, you land in Hogsmeade, or you arrive in Hogsmeade at the other park, which is really cool. We love Islands of Adventure.
Islands of Adventure is great.
It's great. Yeah. And the first ride that we were going to ride here is Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, which you'll see us get to in just a moment. That is by far one of the best rides at either park in Universal Studios Florida.
Honestly, at any theme park. It's up there with the Incredicoaster and all sorts of awesome thrill rides.
Yeah, it's seriously amazing. The only way to cut down lines, as of right now, and this ride is not brand new, like this ride is years old, the only way to cut the line at Hagrid's is through the VIP experience. Even if you buy the unlimited express pass right now, it doesn't cut the line. Like, there is no express pass
for this
line
ride. Yeah, there's nothing. So
for that ride.
It's wait or VIP. That's literally it.
Yeah. So that's kind of a cool benefit of the VIP experience. Another benefit of VIP that we haven't really touched on yet, I don't think in any of our videos yet, is lockers. So Universal Studios, I feel like, is unique in the amount of times that it demands that you use a locker for their rides. Lockers are free if you have a small bag. If you are carrying like a backpack, or if you have like a large group and you have multiple bags, you have to pay $3 for your locker, even if you're only using it while you're riding the ride.
Right.
Hagrid's is one of those rides where you have to pay for the locker, and it's such a pain in the butt. Like, it's incredible how many times you have to use the locker in these two parks.
There's about a half dozen rides where it's like you literally cannot ride without spending money on a locker.
Yeah. But the cool thing about a VIP tour is you don't have to do that. You don't have to pay for lockers. Yes, your VIP guide will hold on to your bags, which was our experience in Universal Studios Hollywood. But they only require lockers, I think, on Mummy, right? And you have options to get lockers elsewhere, but either way, that's a cool benefit. After Hagrid's, we made our way over to the Forbidden Journey ride, which is the ride inside the castle. Devin and I both sat this one out because it makes us both
this ride. It's
nauseous.
The worst. It's probably the worst ride in the park. I mean, I'd go back on Supercharged as opposed to this. You're in a big bucket seat, and it's like soaring over California if you've ever been on it, or soaring over the world in Disney World, and it just sticks you out in the middle of the screen and then just vibrates you to death.
Yeah, and just not a pleasant way. The way that you're moving is not very pleasant, and it makes both of us nauseous. So there were actually quite a few people who did not ride this ride because of how nauseous they knew that it would make them.
Right.
But you can see the crowds are definitely starting to pick up now.
It was so busy that day.
It was very busy. We were kind of thankful for our tour guide. So after the Forbidden Journey ride, you kind of make your way along the castle, and that gets you to Jurassic Park. I timed that so well, and I didn't even plan it. So our tour guide timed his announcement of welcome to Jurassic Park with the music that was playing, which was really cute. And our first ride in Jurassic Park, Devin, was VelociCoaster.
I hated this. Oh my God, it was so awful.
VelociCoaster is intense. Like, this is an intense roller coaster. You can see it kind of going overhead. We skipped this ride 2 years ago because we chickened out. Like, as soon as we realized we had to go through, like, metal detectors and wait in this long line, like, we chickened out. But we said we'd be brave.
And we did it. For some reason.
Well, I feel like with the VIP tour...
It makes sense. It does.
It makes sense to do it. So,
because the line was already up to, like, I think it was like 45 or 60 minutes. It was crazy how long it already was.
Yeah, but it was an intense ride, and I don't think Devin and I ever want to do that one again.
So you go like 70 miles an hour. There's a 160-foot drop. You're upside down in total, I think 5 or 6 seconds on the entire ride, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is.
And it feels like a lot.
There's like 6 different corkscrews. It's a batshit crazy ride.
Yeah, it was intense for sure. PJ rode that one with us, didn't he? Yeah. Which was really cute. Every once in a while, he would ride a ride with us, and it was kind of fun. And he rode this ride with us, I think, the Jurassic Park River Adventure. That was our next stop at 11:25 in the morning.
So the cool thing about this ride is it is the original Jurassic Park ride still. It is not the updated one that you see on or in LA. Right. And I like it. You know, when you have the big T-Rex swing out over you and then you just drop. It's so much fun.
It is fun. It's a good ride. And, you know, it was a hot day, so it was kind of refreshing to get doused a little bit. And luckily our feet stayed dry, and I think that made the biggest difference. But you can see us modeling how much water we got. It's hard to see sometimes on our shirts, but you can kind of see it better on Devin.
It's crazy. The woman behind Lauren in the orange top, she spent the time leading up to this saying like, I want to get wet. I want to get on a ride that gets wet. And then it was, I wish I was recording it while we were on the ride, because a literal wall of water jumped up and just destroyed her.
Yeah, she got soaked. She got what she wanted. That's for sure. So we continued on with our VIP experience. We skipped King Kong, which I had to write in there because we were actually really looking forward to riding
Yeah.
King Kong. That's one of our favorite rides at Islands of Adventure. It's kind of in the same vein as Fast and the Furious, but like way better. There's this really cool animatronic at the end of King Kong that
Yeah.
is so worth
Just kind of, you
seeing.
turn this corner and it's just this insane 30-foot animatronic. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's absolutely cool. I'm so bummed that we didn't get to ride it.
And I'm a little irritated here too because I was trying to get a shot of the log flume just flying out of here because this ride is absolutely unhinged. We've never ridden it before, but
No.
watching people on it, it looks just bonkers.
Yeah, it looks crazy. Our tour guide PJ said like you get drenched, right, on this ride, and the other one, the rafting one with like the spinning raft, you get soaked on those too, and we didn't go on those with the tour guide because it kind of is like a end of the day activity, he said, where you're leaving the park because you don't really recover from the dampness of that one. I feel like with River Adventure, you do recover from it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, like the left half of me was pretty wet, but it got better.
Yeah. So right now we're walking through kind of this comic book, cartoon, newspaper comics sort of area. That's where those two water rides are. The theming in this part of the park is really cool. I think Islands of Adventure has really neat theming.
This one baffles me. Like you have the Dagwood area here with the sandwich. You have, I think at one point, like you have a Kathy thing. For those of you who remember the Kathy comic, there's Popeye. It's just so interesting that there's still in 2024 like a comic, like a newspaper comic strip area.
Yeah, it is interesting. The main features there are definitely those two water rides, and I think they're fairly popular rides, so I don't see this area changing anytime soon.
Right. It's cute though. I mean, look at all these statues and stuff. And it's very over the top.
It is very over the top. We were using this area to get from Jurassic Park into the Marvel area.
Yeah.
We had a bathroom stop kind of at the end of this cartoon area, and at the end of it,
My guy.
yeah,
I love the Phantom.
at the end of it, PJ was giving us a lot of like trivia things on Marvel comics, and that was kind of fun. If you know Devin, like he enjoyed all of the little Marvel facts.
That was super fun. He stumped me on one question though, and it was what the name of the street represented, and it had something to do with the thing's origin, and I didn't know that question.
Yeah,
but I got all the other ones right.
Yeah, but it was fun. It like getting those behind the scenes kind of stories from your tour guide are a fun aspect of being on a VIP tour. And it kind of slows down the pace. Obviously, it changes the pace when you're on a VIP tour because you're not rushing from ride to ride. Because
you don't have to. It's great.
Exactly, because no matter when you arrive there with your VIP guide, you'll be fine and you'll enter.
Pro tip, this is one of two areas in Universal Orlando that has the best ice cream or soft serve ever. It was right there.
It's pretty good. We continued walking through the Marvel area. He was kind of continuing to point out some like facts and stuff like that about the different comics. We passed by Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, which was down at that point, and unfortunately, as we'll talk about in a second, was also down later. But we made our way through kind of the entire Marvel area to get to the Hulk roller coaster.
Yeah.
So I rode the Hulk roller coaster. Devin sat this one out, and whoo-wee, I did not enjoy it. It was fine of an experience. I kept my eyes closed for most of it. You do like a bunch of upside down stuff. As you can see those loops. And it was just like intense. It was just like rocking the entire time. It felt like you were being pushed back and forth in your seat, and I kept hitting my head like on the headrest, and it wasn't a very comfortable roller coaster.
You ended up with a headache for a good part of the day after this one too. And so what I should point out here is that I didn't just sit this one out. It does not. This ride is one of the few in this park that does not fit my body shape. So that should be something that folks need to be aware of when they go to this park, because some rides don't do that. And I'll talk about it. I actually planning on talking about that stuff more on our TikTok channel, which is at Travels in Tranquility. So check that out. But yeah, it seems like a cool ride. I probably would have done it with Lauren. But I don't know. After VelociCoaster, I was kind of tapped out on roller coasters.
Yeah. This chunk of our like morning was really intense with some of these rides back to back. We were doing a lot of intense rides and drops. And I was kind of glad that we were going to take a lunch break after this, because I needed a break. It was a lot, especially like in the sun and the screaming, and it was a lot. So it just popped up on the screen. We were going to do Adventures in Spider-Man, but unfortunately the ride was broken down again. So we just headed back to the other park. We got to do this really cool, like,
this was fun.
Behind the scenes walk in between the parks in this area that's restricted only for employees.
Couldn't film it though, unfortunately.
Yeah, obviously we couldn't film it. But we arrived back in Universal Studios, the main park, and we went to lunch. So we arrived at lunch at 12:50, and we had about an hour for our lunch break. So we had lunch at Finnegan's, and you can tell I'm putting sunscreen back on because it's so hot and so sunny there.
It was packed in this place.
And very slow service. So Finnegan's is like a full service restaurant, and we were just in there with everyone. It wasn't like a dedicated area only for the VIP tour, which I think we'll mention and talk about more in our comparison video.
Absolutely.
Because we have some thoughts on that. The food was okay, though.
Yeah, it was all right.
Our server was definitely overworked, and it showed
definitely overwhelmed,
kind of in that, because it took a while for us to get our food and stuff like that. We had a few minutes left over where we were able to kind of get out of the packed restaurant and look at a couple of shops. Because, you know, while you're on a VIP tour, you don't really spend a lot of time shopping. So we just kind of wanted to look around. Some of the other members of our group went to Starbucks. And one of them got like an espresso shot and all this stuff. Like, because you were feeling it today. Like we were walking and moving around quite a bit.
Right.
So after lunch,
It's the Blues Brothers.
It is the Blues Brothers. They're so cool. We made our way across the park, kind of at a leisurely pace. Everybody was pretty full after lunch. Everybody ate a big lunch. And we walked over to the E.T. ride. And on our way, you're going to see this on the left-hand side, I can't remember what it was called, just like the DreamWorks area.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called. It'll flash over here. But it replaced something else that had been there. I'm forgetting what it was. It
was like the Woody Woodpecker Kid Zone.
Yeah. So it's going to be a completely new, just DreamWorks themed area. This was a cast exclusive access day. You can see that blue sign there says.
Yeah, cast previews.
But they had some cool stuff. I mean, Shrek and Donkey were out over there next to Shrek's house. There's a new ride. They have a bunch of food options. And I'm just trying to get a shot of Shrek, but
you couldn't really see him. It's definitely blocked.
Yeah.
It looks cool. It's definitely a kid-friendly area. The ride that Devin's talking about is like a kiddie coaster.
Yeah.
And PJ was saying that it's basically they just repainted over what the ride was before and themed it for Trolls.
That SpongeBob Store Pants area is my favorite store that we visited, just hands down.
Yeah, you'll see it in a separate video.
Yeah.
Or actually, it might be later in this video. It's the next video.
It's a different day.
The E.T. ride, just to touch on it because we didn't talk about it just now, is one of our favorite rides. It's just so cute. It's one of the few rides, I think, at Universal Studios at either park where it feels like a genuine old school kind of theme park ride.
Oh, yeah. There's this huge queue that is themed immaculately the whole way through. The music is on point. It's got the animatronics. It's just old. It's got that weird old nostalgia feel to it. It's amazing.
Yeah. So if you're like a big fan of those types of rides from like Disneyland, like Fantasyland kind of rides, that definitely hits the spot.
It uses a lot of the same technology that's on the Peter Pan ride in the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, it's really cool. We love it. You'll see us ride it again in many other videos. From ET, we made our way through Springfield, which is another really cute themed area after The Simpsons. We did not ride the Simpsons ride. PJ was saying, I thought this was interesting because we never ride it on the VIP tours at Hollywood either. And PJ was saying that's because there's 2 pre-shows that he's not allowed to skip.
Yeah, it's unskippable.
So in many other rides, he's allowed to skip a lot of the pre-show stuff, but for some reason, they're told not to skip it. And so, therefore, because it would take so much longer to get through the ride, they often just skip the ride as a whole. Yeah. He also said that that's the number 2 ride complained about for motion sickness, which I thought was really interesting.
Right, number 1 being Forbidden Journey.
Yes.
Or, Harry Potter area.
Yes. So, at 2:40, we made it to Men in Black Alien Attack, which is another great ride. Kind of also old school.
Very old school.
In the way that it's done.
I was obsessed with this movie when I was a kid. It came out in 97. I love it. This is one of my favorite themed areas in the park because it's just so cool.
And it's cool. So one of the neat experiences with the VIP tour is that you get to go on the floor.
Yeah, so that the railing up there on the second floor you see is where the normal queue goes through to get to the ride, and this is something that you just observed. The first time we came through here 2 years ago, we just thought this was theming. But yeah, you get to go and do stuff. And then all of these cards have different aliens from various franchises that are being checked in through the MIB area here, which is also just immaculate theming.
Yeah, it's cool because you wouldn't see those cards otherwise.
Right.
In the normal queue. So you don't even know that they're there until you're on this VIP tour or you watch somebody's video about the VIP tour and see that, like, there's a card for Bumblebee or a card for
the aliens from The Simpsons.
Yeah, like, you just don't see that. So we all had a really good time. We probably got maybe like 10-ish minutes down there to take photos, videos. You got to sit on stuff. You just couldn't touch the aliens.
Yeah.
That was the only rule.
They're original to the ride, and they're apparently very fragile.
Yeah. But that was neat. So Alien Attack is like a little shooter style kind of game. Devin did really well on the first round.
I killed this one. It was great.
You killed this. When we did this ride on a different day, I think I got a decent score.
Yeah,
I got
you got the bonus.
Yeah, I got the bonus. So that made me feel.
I was very proud of you.
That made me feel very special. From Men in Black Alien Attack, we had another potty break. And then I wrote it down, so I have to say it. And then we made our way back into Harry Potter. This is
Diagon Alley.
Diagon Alley. So we walked through, we saw Grimald's Place with Creature.
Yeah, and then there's the night bus there as well.
This
theming is amazing as well.
It's cool. There's also a telephone booth kind of right outside the entrance to Diagon Alley, where you can call the Ministry of Magic from there. They'll tell you that, like, the ministry is closed or something like that, but it's kind of a cute theming.
Fun. Yeah, it's fun.
There was like a line outside of the phone booth for people to get their photo in there and to do the little dialing thing. It was cute. It was a lot of kids. They had a lot of fun.
When you get in there, you have to dial magic, and then it'll start the prompt.
So we made our way into Diagon Alley, which is, again, just amazing, immersive theming. And we headed over to the Harry Potter Escape from Gringotts ride, which I would say, besides Hagrid's, this is probably my number 2 Harry Potter ride of the 5 that exist. I would think this is number 2.
Yeah, I agree. This one's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really neat. You're in kind of a similar ride contraption that you are for Forbidden Journey, but it's somehow less intense.
Yeah, I think it's because you're in like a pseudo roller coaster, because it's mostly a motion simulator ride, but you're in like a pseudo roller coaster as opposed to like bench seats.
Yeah, maybe that helps.
I think that's it. And there's a lot less side to side jerking on this one than there is in the Forbidden Journey. This one has just like drops and things like that. So this one's a little more even.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
We enjoy it. Another neat bonus for the VIP tour. This is another ride that includes lockers, which we didn't have to deal with. And we got to go kind of I don't know if it was like in a special thing or what have you, but he took us from the express lane kind of out into this side lane that went right up on the goblins, like the bankers.
Yeah, I don't think you can get this close in the normal queue because you can see we're so far out of it. And as long as you don't touch anything, like you're fine to get this close with the animatronics.
It was cool. We got to take a bunch of photos and
Yeah.
video. As you can see, everybody was like posing with them. And it was just neat to get a little bit closer. And, you know, as PJ was saying, to like see all the peasants who are not on their VIP tour. That was fun. And we got some like, you know, more background on the ride and stuff there before we went back out and then through the exit to get onto the actual ride. So you can see us here walking through the exit. Walking past all the people who waited 90 minutes in line or whatever.
And I gotta say, I probably wouldn't wait 90 minutes for this ride. You know, honestly, if it's the first time you're doing it, sure. But like, I would wait that for Hagrid's. I would not wait for this one.
Yeah. I agree with you. After Gringotts, staying in Diagon Alley, we took, kind of like a half-hour break. Probably like a 15 to 20-minute break for people to get butterbeer, because that was really important to a lot of people that were in our tour group. Dev and I aren't a huge fan of butterbeer and like butterscotch.
We've done it before. Fun fact, in our very first apartment when we first moved in together, we made butterbeer, and it was not good.
No, I just don't like butterscotch. So we took some time to just kind of walk around and appreciate Diagon Alley, looking in some of the shops, and this is Nocturne Alley.
Or what we like to call the $1 million tripping hazard.
Yeah. So it was very dark. Like what you're seeing is basically the amount of light that you had going through there.
Right, and this camera is very good at capturing light, so it was quite a bit darker to your eyes.
Yeah, it was dark. So we went through and just kind of walked around while we waited for everybody to get their butterbeer treats. Everybody seemed really happy, so I'm not sure if this is part of every single tour or if he made this stop a special for us because everyone was so excited. Like the majority of the group wanted the butterbeer experience.
Yeah, I think that was it. Also, he says there is a secret menu there, so ask for the soft serve, the butterbeer soft serve.
Yeah. After leaving the Harry Potter area, we did some like backlot production office kind of stuff that you'll see here in just a second.
Very difficult to get photos of because there was active production happening.
Yeah, he was saying they had in a lot of the sound stages, they had already built all of their sets for Halloween Horror Nights. But it was cool to see some behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Universal Studios Orlando is definitely not as much geared towards the production side of things as you expect in Hollywood. But it's cool to see some. After that, we went on our last ride, which was Revenge of the Mummy.
One of my favorite rides here.
At 505. Great ride. We even got to go underneath the ride.
As it was going.
So cool.
Amazing.
Absolutely amazing. And then that was the end of our tour. So some quick facts about our tour that you can read on screen, but definitely stay tuned to our channel because there's so much more to come in this vacation.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah, catch you guys in the next one. Bye.